Top 25 current NBA players. My name is Josh, your Envyerz. This video did absolutely amazing last year, so hopefully we can replicate some of that success. Let's break down how I made this top 25 list real quickly so you guys aren't too confused on how I ranked. Number 1, we looked at all of the player stats on this list and compared them with last year and this year. But stats don't mean everything. Just because you score more points doesn't make you a better player. Number 2, are they an all-around player? Do they play both ends of the floor? And number 3, how valuable that player is to their team. Are they a lottery team without them, etc. Certain players will not be on this list due to injury, so hopefully you guys understand the simple concept of this video. Let's get started with number 25, Andre Drummond. He was a huge part of the Pistons' early on success this year. Unfortunately, that's fallen off a bit. Nonetheless, he still improved his free throw percentage. He's shooting above 60%, which is absolutely crazy compared to the 30% last year. And compared to his 2017 season, 2018 is looking good with a career high of 15 rebounds, along with his points and assist numbers going up 1 and 2 respectively. At number 24, we have LaMarcus Aldridge. With Kawhi Leonard being out at the beginning of the season, he stepped up big time for the Spurs. He improved a ton compared to last season and is a big part why the Spurs are still a top 3 team in the Western Conference even without Kawhi Leonard playing that many games. His stat line so far is making him look like the old LaMarcus Aldridge back in his Portland Trail Blazers days, averaging 22 points per game and 8 rebounds. At number 23, we have Devin Booker. Even though the Phoenix Suns suck right now, Devin Booker is proving he's becoming one of the best shooting guards in the league. He's improved from last year, averaging 25 points per game, 4 rebounds, 38 3-point percentages, and 4 assists this season. At number 22, Klay Thompson. In last year's video, he was ranked 20th, and this year, he's ranked 22nd. That's only because other players have emerged as some of the top guys, and Klay Thompson improved, but not as drastically as other players. 21 points per game, 4 rebounds, he has a better 3-point percentage, and 3 assists. Besides Curry and Durant, he's the 3rd best player on the Warriors. At number 21, Victor Oladipo, who's currently the fan favorite to win Most Improved Player of the Year this year, and I don't blame him. When he was traded for Paul George, the Oklahoma City Thunder were the apparent winners of the trade. But now with the Pacers, he's having a career year, a career high of 25 points per game this season, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 4 assists. If this trade was considered to be a bag of potato chips for Paul George, this bag of potato chips is definitely balling out this year. At number 20, John Wall. He's a few spots down from last year, but that's simply for the fact that other players got better, especially some of his teammates, Bradley Beal, Otto Porter, and even Kelly Oubre all stepping up and are part of the reason why the Wizards are having success. This year he's averaging 18 points per game, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 8 assists. At number 19, Blake Griffin. The Clippers curse seems to be real. Blake Griffin had a variety of different injuries this season so far. Gallinari was hurt, Milos was hurt, Patrick Beverley was hurt. Clippers are still in playoff contention and can easily slip into the 8th or 7th seed. They're doing pretty good for not having Chris Paul. This year's stats looks like 23 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal, and 5 assists. At number 18, we have Paul George. Thunder seem to be having some trouble early on, meshing PG and Carmelo Anthony into the Thunder lineup. People were already panicking early that they weren't in playoffs, but now they're looking just fine. Surprisingly, Paul George's stat line hasn't dropped that much, averaging 21 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 assists. At number 17, Jimmy Butler. The crazy thing is Paul George and Jimmy Butler almost have the exact same stat line. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 4 assists. But the main reason why I had Jimmy Butler above Paul George was because he's more important to the Wolves, I feel like, than Paul George is to the Thunder. Hopefully he helps Andrew Wiggins take the next step. At number 16, the current teammate, Karl Anthony Towns. I know Jimmy Butler brings the grit and veteranship to the Timberwolves, but Towns overall has a higher ceiling and makes Jimmy Butler's job a whole lot easier. His numbers took a dip because of Jimmy Butler, but he's still averaging 20 points per game, 11 rebounds, 1 block, and 2 assists. At number 15, Joel Embiid. Only in the 2nd season technically with the 76ers, but so far his health hasn't been a big issue this season, as a lot of people thought he wouldn't be healthy. And the Sixers are sneaky close to making playoffs. This year he's averaging 24 points per game, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, and one of the better bigs defensively when it comes to protecting the rim, and 3 assists. At number 14, his counterpart Kristaps Porzingis. With Carmelo Anthony being traded in the offseason, Porzingis has stepped up huge with the Knicks, and although they're not the best team, they're not the worst as a lot of people may have projected them to be. Like I said with Joel Embiid, he's one of the better rim protectors. Kristaps Porzingis is just having as good as of a year as Joel Embiid. 24 points per game, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 1 assist for the Knicks. And so far between the two, the more developed player. At number 13, DeMar DeRozan, one of the most underrated shooting guards in the league today, and is a big reason why the Raptors have some of the best regular season success, shooting the 3-ball more and less ISO plays, averaging 25 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, and 5 assists. At number 12, Damian Lillard. The Blazers have a pretty average roster, which they definitely need to make some moves if they want to continue to be a playoff contender. Lillard needs a little bit more help in Portland, but not entirely sure who that player is going to be. He's still averaging 25 points per game, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, and 6 assists. At number 11, Chris Paul. The combo of Harden and Paul, a duo probably nobody thought would work. I definitely think it would work, but it is working. Chris Paul might actually get out of the second round this season come playoff time. What he did for DeAndre Jordan with the Clippers, he's now doing with Clint Capella for the Rockets. Although he doesn't have the most points, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 5 assists, he makes the Rockets a whole lot better offensively, and that's scary. At number 10, Anthony Davis. He had a monstrous year last season, and with the addition of DeMarcus Cousins, you'd expect the Pelicans to be a better team than they are currently. Unfortunately, they aren't. He's averaging 25 points per game, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 assists. That's superstar numbers, but the Pelicans definitely aren't a superstar team. At number 9 is his teammate DeMarcus Cousins. I feel like DeMarcus Cousins has improved his game compared to Anthony Davis, and by that I mean he's just essentially taking more threes. I'm not entirely sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but he's becoming one of the more versatile bigs in the league, and if not is the most versatile big in the league, averaging 26 points per game, 12 rebounds, 1 block, and 5 assists. At number 8, Kawhi Leonard. It really pains me to put him so low, but he's only played 8 games so far this season, and when healthy, he could definitely be a top 5 player in the league. With the small sample size we got so far, he's been able to average 15 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, and 2 assists, a relatively similar stat line to the entirety of last season, and he's only playing 20 minutes per game. That says a lot about Kawhi Leonard, but it says even more about the Spurs organization being able to win without him. At number 7, Kyrie Irving. It was one of the craziest off seasons in the NBA. Kyrie being traded to the Celtics was part of it. He wanted to get away from LeBron and try to lead his own team, and right now he's doing it with the Boston Celtics. Thanks to Brad Stevens, of course. Surprisingly, being on his first year with the new team, his stat line is pretty much identical to last season with the Cavaliers. 24 points per game, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, and 5 assists. Not to mention he's doing all of this without all-star Gordon Hayward. And the Celtics are the second best team in the entire league currently. At number 6, we have Russell Westbrook. Although the Thunder were struggling early in the season, they aren't anymore. And Russell Westbrook is dangerously close to flirting with the triple-double this season, averaging 24 points per game, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and 10 assists. Love him or hate him, and whether or not you think he's stat pads, he's still a top 10 player in the league and heart and soul of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not to mention last year's MVP. Moving on to the top 5, we have Steph Curry. Seems to be getting adjusted to having Kevin Durant on his team and getting back to the Stephen Curry of old. 27 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, and 6 assists so far this season. It really isn't fair having 2 of the best players in the league on the same team together, but the Warriors are somehow finding a way to do it and pay everybody to keep the core together. At number 4, his teammate Kevin Durant, and whether or not you love him or hate him for leaving the Oklahoma City Thunder, he is a champion now with the Golden State Warriors. He set a goal and accomplished that, and this season they seem to be the favorite once again. Kevin Durant seems to be more comfortable with the Warriors, doing a lot of trash talking this season, averaging 26 points per game, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 5 assists so far. At number 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo. A lot of people's picks at the beginning of the season to be this year's MVP, but I still think it's a year too early for him. Don't get me wrong, Giannis is an amazing player. There's a reason why I have him at number 3, and in my mind making this video, I was going back and forth. Should I put him at number 3? Should I put him at number 2? Should I put him at number 1 even? Ultimately, I chose 3 because the next 2 players I will be mentioning are having an even better year than Giannis is. And Giannis is having a great year, playing that point forward role for the Milwaukee Bucks, averaging 29 points per game, 10 rebounds, 1 steal, and 5 assists. At number 2, James Harden. For the past few years, James Harden has been overlooked from being the league's MVP. Will it be this year? Maybe, maybe not. The Rockets got even better by adding Chris Paul, and now James Harden is scoring a career high of 32 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 9 assists. Assists dipped down because of Chris Paul. Last year he had a career high in 11 assists, so this man is putting up crazy numbers, but he isn't getting the props he deserves from the NBA because he doesn't play defense that great. Tends to flop occasionally, but with the Rockets, he's a top 3 team in the entire league. That's deserving of some recognition at least. And finally at number 1, LeBron James. When it's all said and done, LeBron James is one of the best players of all time. And at the age of 33, he's putting up Miami Heat stats. Actually, better than Miami Heat stats. He's averaging 27 points per game, 8 rebounds, almost 2 steals, but we're gonna say 1, and a career high 9 assists. He's playing out of his mind, and it sucks that LeBron James just might go once again to the NBA Finals to lose to the Warriors this season. You'd hope that's not the case, but it's definitely looking like that right now, even though if he is the best player in the league. With that said, do you guys agree or disagree with my top 25 current NBA players in the league today? Let me know in the comment section below. Let's try to be civil about it. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like. It really helps the channel grow, especially with all the hours and work I put into this video. It'd be greatly appreciated, along with checking out some of my other NBA related videos on screen.
I'm gonna fly, I'm gonna rock, elevate up the